Testing 1, 2, 3. My microphone is on, even though it's supposed to be off. That's annoying as hell. I apologize for that. Let's see here. Get to the main screen. Hey, everybody, how's it going? I hope it's going well for you. I'm Santa Aaron today. I've got with me my coding partner. Oh, crap. One sec. I have audio bleed from the YouTube stream. Why is the YouTube stream not updated? Okay, now it's updated. Just checking the stream stuff. I've been having nothing but problems in the stream the last couple of days, so I've been trying to make sure my stream is as hot as can be. And when I say hot, I mean hot as in it works. Welcome. It's Friday, no matter where you are. Maybe Saturday, depending on where you are. But for me, it's Friday. It's lunchtime. It is time for the lunch stream. My name is Aaron LeBeau. I'm a developer advocate. Oh, sorry about that, buddy. Sorry, buddy. It's okay, man. I'm sorry. Really sorry, man. Don't be angry at me. Don't look back in anger. I heard her say. This is my buddy, my coding partner, Yoda. We'll be doing some code pairing here today on the lunch stream. What do I do during the lunch stream? I do whatever I want. It's my personal stream of streaming fun stuff with software development. I've been playing with .NET as of lately, and just to keep my .NET chops up, I don't just do .NET. I do all kinds of things, Swift, Kotlin with Android Native. I'm primarily a mobile guy, but I also do web stuff. In fact, the projects I work on at work right now are highly based in web technology. Doesn't mean I don't also work on mobile stuff, but I'm on a particular project I can't talk about that is requires me to look at React every day. And my headphones are going weird on me here. So why am I dressed in the silly Santa hat and the World of Warcraft ugly Christmas sweater? It's because I was recording some stuff for a future thing today that will hopefully ship. I don't know when, but I feel sorry. I was a little late on my videos that I was supposed to do, but I gave out the videos that I needed to give out, and I will try to help that person with the thing that they're working on. It's not my thing, it's somebody else's, but I tried my best. So happy Christmas, everybody, or happy holidays, everybody. Whatever religion you are, whatever thing you're celebrating, can we all just agree that it's the beautiful time of the year? It's the time of the year for everyone to just get along and do cool things. I think that that is the secret here. Ooh, crap. Let me get that out. That's bad. That was work stuff that should not be on the screen. So let me also go back here to make sure that I don't have any other work stuff that I shouldn't be showing. I do. All right, let me clean that off. Sorry about that. Boy. Oh, boy. It's Friday, folks. We're on the lunch stream. What have we been working on? Well, yesterday, we've been looking at the Maui shell example, and I'm trying to build an app in shell with Maui. And I wanted to just kind of call out that I've been using the documentation. We've got this really great documentation here. Microsoft has it. We can tell it's from Xamarin days. Look at the Xamarin logo. This is Xanimals. So this is a very famous demo they did several years ago. I'm guessing this is as far back as 2018 is my guess. Just based on, I know Dave from the Microsoft Maui team, who used to be part of Xamarin. I remember when he... showed this demo off first for show. I don't remember roughly what year it was when that happened. So I'm guessing this original documentation has just been shifted and uplifted to support the latest version. But I have a feeling that they did not fully test this because it does not work. And so because of that, what do you do? What do you do when you're a developer and you're playing around with technology and it doesn't work? Well, you open an issue in their GitHub to start out with, right? And my recommendation is you can't just open an issue. You can't just say this doesn't work. You got to give them steps to reproduce. You have to give them a repo with the file intact that has it and some videos. So I did all this yesterday. I went through after the lunch stream. I created a video showing off my bug, showing that, hey, if I use my Android app, you can see here, if I were to play this video, I don't know how well this is going to look on the stream, but if I were to play this video, try playing this video. Maybe it's not going to play. It's not going to play. I guess maybe you have to download it. GitHub's not being nice on the video quality here. But anyways, if they were to download and look at that video, they'll see that the Android app, the theme doesn't work, but the iOS does. I give them the full public repository. I give them the version, I give them all the stuff they care about, and then I give them some more information that I actually tried the documentation and it made it worse and explained that this also breaks stuff. Now, it was more than that. I also put a ticket in for the docs because the docs are broke. So then I went through and made another ticket for the documentation team to take a look at and say, hey, when you give this documentation out, it bombs me out. Not good. We probably should fix this. Right? Because it's a bad experience if I take your documentation, cut and paste it, and it blows up my app. Now, the final thing I wanted to point out today is that I also looked for my problem with iOS. And it turns out it's a known issue in the backlog. And it looks like it's going to be maybe fixed here. But I figured out from this issue what the real problem is. The problem is the header. And I would have never thought about that for a second. But actually, after reading through some people's comments here, it turns out that it's anytime there's a header at the top, that will cause the problem. Somebody has come around with some try fixes around it. Some people are saying another option is to add a margin to the top level inside the header, and set the minimum height request so that it's bigger than the height request on iOS specifically. And they're saying that if you do these two things, that maybe this will fix it. So basically taking the header grid, making it 0 pixels, but then make the minimum height request the header grid plus 56. That seems like pretty hacky, if you ask me, right? Some people are saying that this doesn't work though. And we'll see here that some people are talking about variable fixes for it. And this person's saying that it does not work. Right here, they're saying the workaround for issue with iOS is tappable on the first item. So listen for route, tap goes nowhere, and on navigate and execute. And executing e.cancel. So this is getting some pretty hacky stuff here. I added my feedback that I'm also seeing this problem, right? So that's if you're going to be a good citizen on it, when you find an issue, you should tell them because they don't know if it's, something that they should be, worried about or not. And the more people that report an issue, the more likelihood it's going to get fixed. So the good news is that it's a lot of people talking about this. I'm pretty confident that this is probably going to, they're working on it. And you can see here, so I don't know this person. Matthew. Okay, well, Matthew looks like he's actually looking at some tests here. I know that I'm pretty sure he works on the .NET team. So the hope is that it looks like maybe that we'll see a fix in this in the first patch for Maui for 2.0. And so that's a good stand. Service release 2 that this may actually be in. That would be freaking wonderful. I'm not going to have this probably done by then. Maybe not. So I think we'll just live with that bug for right now, make it a little bit bigger, and that will be okay for right now. So that is the status on the things we were talking about yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at Rider and get that back open up here and take a look at our code here. See where we left off. Oh, that's fine. Clear all. Let's go back to our code and take a look here and see where we were. We're trying to fix as many issues as possible in our code. So one, we know that we have a bug in Android. Well, there's an update for Copilot. Okay. We are using Copilot as much as possible. We also have some bugs where the XAML color highlighting is not working in Rider. That's not awesome, but I wish that would work. Tooling seems to be a story here. It seems like the VS Code tooling for Mac is not great. Right now, it's not there where it should be, like how VS Code was. Visual Studio Code for Mac is not for Maui development specifically. Let me be clear on my feelings on this. Maui development, mobile, VS Code is not there. All kinds of issues still. Issues with the licensing, right? Rider, tooling problems. We're seeing it now. XAML highlighting not working, right? It's been a list of problems in Rider. And Visual Studio for Mac is no longer being supported by Microsoft. And poor went out for a friend at Visual Studio Mac because this was, I know some people didn't like it, but was very reliable for a long period of time. And you'll see here, it's currently saying certain things. I'm not going to use this because it's not going to be supported much longer, so I'm not going to even open it and try to fix it. My Android deployment environment now is pointing to a different place for Android. I have Android Studio already installed, so I'm trying to reuse that. But I'd say that that's the experience in .NET right now on the Mac, is that the tooling is not the world's best, to say the least. So what we did yesterday, I think before, and I'm going to run this real quickly. We'll start, I guess, with iOS on a device. So the other thing somebody was bringing up, which I do want to test today on the call, is that they were saying that in iOS specifically, it was only happening on small devices. And if you have a bigger device, this bug doesn't happen with the first item click. Now, that's pretty interesting. When I was reading this yesterday, I started thinking through it, and it's true. I use the iPhone 13 mini for most of my testing, and then I use a biggie phone, like an iPhone 14 or whatever, Max. And the theory would be is if it looks good on a small and a large screen, the middle ones, it should be probably okay. You should test on all the different various screen sizes if you're trying to push them in production, but I figured that would be an okay place to start. Clive, have you tried submitting your own solution on the GitHub looking very festive? Have you tried submitting your own solution on GitHub? Clive, I'm not sure the question there. Clive, our friend over on YouTube, asking the question, if I tried submitting, if you mean the bug, I did, and I did put my repo into the bug notes here. So when I did do that, I made sure that I gave them my repo on both tickets. So where was that? The Azure one, I definitely made sure that I gave them a link to my repo, and this is the code actually that we're using right now. And I also gave them the full repo here, down here, with the link to the public repository. Yep, so that's the problem we're talking about here, and that's definitely, we definitely have the repo here. And we also kind of point out which file up here, because I'm basically saying, hey, that repo's got a lot of code in it, but if you look at the app shell specifically, that's where the problem is. But then you want to give them the full repo so they can run it. And then you want to give them a video so they can see how to run the app. And you got to give them some repo steps, right? You got to tell them, hey, in my app, for example, set your app to dark theme, then clone the code, restore your packages, debug the application. Now, right here, I very specifically tell them, when the log page opens, click the logo, because the logo will auto-fill in the username and password box with a demo user. You don't have to know how the authentication works in this. You just have to know that if you click that little logo, it'll give you a username and password. Just click the login button, then click the overflow menu, and you'll see the bug happening. And you got to give, if you're going to fill out a bug on GitHub, you got to give people some information, man. You can't just say hate. You can't just be like, hey, oh, your stuff doesn't work. You're a big corporation. Why does your stuff work? This is stupid. Okay, if you're that person, you're a jerk. Calling you out today. You're a jerk. Why? Because these are people. They're developers. Just like you. If you're a developer, how would you like if somebody did that to your code? That's not cool, okay? What we have to do is we have to help them out as a developer to another developer. We are in the same game here. We're in the same team. Okay, so if you're on the same team, you're using somebody's code, you're using their framework, you're getting something for nothing. You didn't have to build that. Be nice to them. Give them all the information you can give them to be able to fix your problem. The more information you give them, the more likely they'll figure out where the bug is and fix it faster. And when you have something that's not working right, you want it fixed fast, right? You want your thing working. So if you do not give them enough information, you are not helping. You're part of the problem. You're not part of the solution. Don't be part of the problem. Okay. If we take a look here, did you find any workarounds? I didn't, but I also kind of point out in this bug that the documentation makes it worse. That if I follow documentation, then everything blows up. And then, like I said, I also put I put another ticket into the documentation team to make them aware that they're also making this bug worse when they have their Android on specific stuff with the app theme binding. It seems like the root of this is app theme binding is not working right in Android and anything higher than API 31. That's all I tested in. I tested in 31, 32, and 33 in Android, and all three of them seem to be having the same similar problem. So let's see here. I'm going to go and see what's going on with Maui here. I said to build. Why didn't we build? Is our emulator not starting? It's starting the AVD. And this is API 33. I do have another machine here. I actually have two more computers here, and I have tested this code on API 31 on my laptop and 32 on my laptop. I leave the office. This is my personal home office. It's a separate building from where my house is. And so I leave the office, I call it, which is my home studio. And I go to the house, and sometimes I still work on code, but I work on a different machine. I'm working on a desktop machine, and then I usually have a laptop in the house. And when I'm working on things, I'll swap between those two computers. So I know you're saying, well, Aaron, I only see API 33, running here. That's true. But I also have another computer I've tested this even more profusely on because I really want this to work. And so if we take a look here, I know I've got to fix splash screen. We should probably do that. Our bugs still exist where, because I'm in dark mode, you can't see the font on font. This should be black. The font is white. The font is right. It's the background color that's wrong. If I tried it yesterday's stream, we tried to change the background color up here on a platform and use the theme binding, and that busted based on the docs that they gave us, right? So we know that that's not working either. We know that this is the drawing template that we took from the docs, and that also breaks things. So we're in kind of a not great world here. One thing I wanted to test out was the theory that the problem with the iOS bug is that it's only on small devices. So we're going to go biggie. We're going to go all the way to the iPhone 15 Pro Max on our simulator, not emulator. It's a simulator. Simulators work different than emulators, right? They're not the full device with the operating system and kernel running. They're much more scaled down. We have to remember that because simulators usually mean that there's certain things that will not test properly, like your GPS is really hard to test properly. Bluetooth is really hard to test properly. And for those, you should probably just test on a physical device. You really should. So let's see here. We are in light mode here. And we'll see here, let's go to developer. That's working. We go to replication. That's working. We go to projects. And still the problem persists with projects. So let's see if we can figure out if we can click anywhere. Nope. So projects on a biggie device doesn't work at all. On a small device, if I get the clicks, and I'm clicking over and over again, if I get a click right below the J on a small device, it tends to work. Now, I think I took our padding down. We have more padding in here. Also, I got to fix that navigation header, don't I? So that's really interesting. That did not fix it. But one thing I wanted to try was, what if we told the header here to be 0? First thing we'll try is that, and then we'll try it in iOS again to see if the bug exists. And then also the other thing would be, what happens if we just get rid of the header altogether? Now, I need the header because that's where the user profile is going to be. But we're trying to test this bug to see whether or not the bug that was put in that says it's the header is the problem. We want to see if that's really the problem. If it's not, I should probably update the bug saying, hey, look, man, I took the header out and it still doesn't work. That's going to help the developer looking at this bug come up with a fix for it. And so once again, we should play nice in the pool. We shouldn't splash, and we should try to do our best to, if we're having a problem, to help somebody out fix it. So you'll see here, project is now no longer in the header. But if we look here, I took the header out and I took the padding out and it's still not working. And now it's up in the navigation bar, which I hate even more. So that's not. And so to make a new Android device, let's minimize the Android device explorer here. That's not really fixing it either, right? So let's go back to 100 pixels on the top there. For craps and giggles, let's comment this out. and say that there's no header template whatsoever and test this on iOS. Because that's what I was reading. The things I was reading is that it was the template of the header that caused the issue, and that if you didn't have it, you wouldn't see it. And that would make sense, like if they were doing regression testing, if they didn't test a flyout menu with that would be the cause. So let's go here, and that is it. So you see here, I took the header out altogether, and now projects does work. Look at that. See, we're working. Okay, so we know that's definitely the header causing it. So what can we do to try to come up with a workaround? So if we go back to the Visual Studio or the bug report, some people had some stuff that they were trying. Let's get back out of this one and go back to the one that I had reported on. Let's take a look and see what the hacky stuff that other people have posted and see whether or not I want to live with some of these hacks. All right, let's see here. So this person, I'm going to add a thumbs up because that's 100% my same problem. The workarounds provided by G.C. Snyder did not work for me. It seems that the first item is not tappable regardless. So my workaround is to add a dummy item at the top of the list. That's what I did not want to do, and that was going to be my workaround. You make one that is transparent, and by doing that, you could it would shift everything down one, and that was not something I was happy about doing. And since the issue is not affecting all of my devices, it causes an issue that those that can tab on the first item, I'll have to work around this by redirecting to the correct route. See, that seems like a hack. The workaround for this issue with iOS device is tappable on the first item is to listen to a route goes nowhere in navigation, then execute edet cancel. That sucks. That is some garbage right there, right? To say that that's what it's going to be your fix. So let's see here. So this must be the header container view that they're building in, and this is UI kit code, trying to figure out like why the problem exists. Somebody had posted other solution right here. So another option. So let's see what the first option is here. So flyout header, okay. So this person's saying to use buttons. I don't want that either. So this is where it's kind of interesting. They're saying here is that the flyout header. So this is what they're saying here. Added the following to my app shell constructor. So flyout header grid must be a grid here that he's making. Yep. So it's a grid inside of the header. And then in the grid, he's basically doing a height request on it. And then he's saying here, he makes a margin of 0 and then adds the height request plus 56 for the minimum height. Can we do that in our code is the question. All right, so let's move this to a place I can still see it. I'm a multi-screen monitor developer, folks. So let's see here. So in our height here, we have a grid. So the very first thing, if we're going to take his fix and try to do the same thing here, but the first thing we'd have to do is make a name for this, right? Because we're going to need to reference it in C#. And the only way to reference this is if we add a name to it so that we know how to reference it. So X name is going to equal, we'll call this flyout header grid. because that's really what it is. And then we're going to do a height request on it. We're going to take the padding out for right now because the height request should fix what we really were trying to do, which is to give it a certain amount of spacing, right? And then let's see here. Don't really care about the rest of that right now. I think that this could be good enough to get us started. Now, he's saying that in the constructor, he's going to get this reference, and then he needs to add to it. I think that was his fix that he talked about. I want to read that real quick here off screen and make sure that that was the fix that he came up with. And then I'll see if that fixes our issue. Yep. So he's saying now in his app shell here, so let's find our constructor. Our constructor is right here. We're going to wait to after initialize components, and then we're going to say to do, we'll say fix this when this bug is fixed. Current work around for iOS only. And we'll give it to the issue that's on GitHub. So let's copy and paste that in so we know about that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to say pound if iOS. And then we have to do an end if. So this is going to be our app specific code. So we don't want to do this in iOS, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to borrow his code literally for this fix and see what happens. So we're going to say, hey, flyout grid margin equals this thickness, and this equals this. We want to do it after context initialize components because this should give us the pointer to flyout grid. If we don't do that beforehand, we won't have a reference to that because the serialization is probably not done. So let's see here. Let's try this. Let's see what happens. And we are not working. And let's see here. Shell's got the flyout grid. It's named. 3 errors. What are the errors? Flyout grid, header grid does not exist in the current context. What am I doing wrong here? It should exist. I have an X name for it. I mean, an X name should be all you have to do to give a reference to it, right? Do I have, try to think here for a second. Still the same issue. I tried building, just build the solution. And now we're getting catalyst errors also. That's never good. Well, not great. So the height request is what? So if we just put it in here, right? Why do we have to do it in the constructor? What if we just did it here, put the comments in here instead? And then we'll have to platform this, right? So we'll have to say the min height request. So we'll have to get some platform here. Because we only want to, well, but should we make iOS look different than everybody else? Can we just get our cake and eat it? What if everybody else has this and it's nice enough where it works for everybody? Maybe that's what we need to look at. Let's see here. Let's see here. Deployment error. What's going on now? Wait, what? Try to deploy to Catalyst and see what happens. Okay, so Catalyst is working. Having the same bug with Catalyst. Remember that was, we definitely know that it's the Lord J from yesterday. But now it's not working no matter what. I increased the spacing to fix this normally in the theme that I have commented out, and that gets Catalyst working. But that's not working either. So let's go try now iOS and see if it works. Because I didn't change anything other than a couple small things. Tooling, not great. And now tooling's working, and this is coming up here. Oh boy. Okay, so I see the height request. Yeah, see, it's still not fixing it here. I see the spacing definitely, but that's definitely not fixing it here. That's a bummer. That's a super bummer. And so the other options, basically, you do something like this. This is the current theory of workaround, is you just basically make a blank item at the top of the list. One second here, answering a silly question. Not a silly question, a question from somebody at work. Let's see if this now works. So see, now it's working because there is basically this secret item at the top that you see by default. And, you know, I think this will work for right now. Just while we're developing this until hopefully that bug gets in. I think that's honestly not a bad thing. We can focus on other things finally. All right, so let's see here. In Shell, the next problem we have is this purple navigation header is not what we want, right? We need that to be red, on the same red that we're doing for our login button and stuff. So we're going to have to fix that. Let's go in and take a look here. So in Shell, that would be, the navigation is handled by Shell. So let's go look at some code here and Shell to do that. So let's see here. We need our GitHub open. So let's see here. We're going to go into the, sorry about that. Let's see here. We're going to go into the navigation of Shell. And we need to theme the top header. So we're going to use the documentation here to hopefully tell us how to do that. So let's see here. We already have routes. We know how that works. Performance navigation. We're not really worried about that right now, but we're waiting for, and so this is navigation. That'll be helpful in the future. Navigation stack is cool. Navigation events is even better. Boy, it'd really be nice if they had like a menu over here of like what things are in this document. Please don't tell me that you're not going to have like how to theme the navigation here. Of course not. All right. What do I know about Maui? I know a lot about Xamarin Forms. Don't know a lot about Maui, but the theory would be the theming is done in the app usually. So let's see what we have. We have a colors and we have a styles. All right, so that's where I'm guessing our problem is. So let's go through and use our previous knowledge I have. So I know quite a bit about Xamarin Forms, and I've used Shell a couple times in Xamarin Forms, so I'd have a feeling that this is probably going to be in colors and styles. So let's look at colors and see what's going on here. So here we go. We got a primary and a secondary, a ternary and a secondary. So these are this is kind of like material design. Material design usually gives you 3 colors, and we need to calculate that out. We'll see here, we also get a brush that they're using from those colors, which I think is okay. And then we have some different colors that we'll probably need to change out here, right? So let's start out with, I'm going to steal some information here from another version of this app, the same version of this app, but I wrote it in Android native. So I'm going to go into here because the reason why is I'm lazy and I don't want to remember what the coloring is for this, but I know I have it over here. So why wouldn't I just do that? Sure, you can do that update, I guess. Sure, why not? Boy, remind me later. I don't care about Gradle updates. Let's get rid of the Couchbase Light plugin. We'll talk about that later. Let's go find our theming, though, for this and see if we can't just borrow some information here. So UI, let's go to theme. Let's go to color. And we're going to get some definitions here, right? So this is what I need to care about. I have different shades of red that I use. So I use red 5600. These are the hex versions of that because it's what Android needs. But now I have some information that I can kind of borrow about my color, right? And these are in hex, though, not the one that they're going to want. Let me look at my login view. Let me get some coordinates here that I can start to calculate out what we changed on. So this is the red view that we want. So this would be primary. And then I'm going to Google for a site that will give us all the colors we need based off this. So this is going to be our primary. And that's wrong because it should not be gray like that. It should be red. So I missed something in my cut and paste. What did I miss? There's a 218. EC1 218. Go to colors. Missing the 8. There we go. There's our red. So then what we're going to do is, now that we have this kind of color we know about, we'll grab all that. We're going to go to the internet because that's what we like. Let's go here and say material. I think it's material palette actually. And I don't remember this, but there is a site. Yes, this is what I was looking for. So primary, I'm going to make it this. And there we go. And then secondary, we'll make it, what is my secondary color over here? I think it's C2, C2, C2. Okay. And there we go. And now we should have different colors here. So see all these colors? These are the materials. And so let's see here. But what it doesn't give me is my ternary. So that's what I wanted though. Shoot. Let's go back here. My off color. Well, that's just the documentation. It's based on computer materials and works. Maybe this is it. Nope, that just explains more colors, how it works. I already know how colors work. I want something to generate the colors for me. Yeah, so you'll see here, this is where it's trying to explain. Your primary, secondary, ternary is like your off color. So usually there's a color. That's not what I want either. I want. This is a color palette with a color wheel. And Figma. I don't want that either. I just want. I used to have a site that I did for this, and I can't find it now. I feel like it was the last site we had, but it didn't give me the ternary picker. Let's just how do I get back to that site? There we go. This is what we're looking for. All right, so let's go back and do this again real quick. Poop. Apologize for this. Let's just go to writer, get our color again. Make our color this. That looks great. Our secondary. Let's go. I think we said C2, C2, C2. C2, C2, C2. Let me look and see what the real official documentation says for that, for colors. See if I have the marketing guidelines for Couchbase. I'm trying to steal the Couchbase colors. That's what I'm up to here. I do have it. All right, let's see here. All right. Let's get the color scheme that they have. So their dark gray they're saying is actually 6666. Or this blue. I think it should be the 6 with the blue. So let's do our primary as, so let's go, I think I have the colors here. I don't need this picker anymore. Let's go back to our app and see if we can get this working. Now, there's a couple things about this. When you change this out, it's, I have the wrong red. It's supposed to be this. And then secondary we'll make is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we're going to make our ternary color this blue. We'll say white and blue. That looks good. That should give us... So this is where they have accent colors, right? And we want to use a orange accent. So once again, this is where we could actually go to that site and get this site that we had open. Ooh, crap. Let's go back here. We can actually do this though. We can tell it to give us a primary and secondary, and this will give us the colors we care about. So this is actually kind of a cool feature. We'll also do the pink here. Okay, so now you'll see here that it's given us the primary colors that we can kind of go through, then use this in our code, right? So when we generate, so let's see here. So we're going to say orange, and this is going to be 700 we're going to start with, and this would be that color that we have here. That's FC9C0C. So FC9C0C. We'll double check that. That makes sense. And then we're going to say, we're going to have orange 800. We're going to have orange 900. And then we're going to have 600, 500, 500, and we'll go to 400. And this will give us our range of colors that we want to deal with. So then all we have to do here is go to 900. 900 is, hopefully this copy to the clipboard. It did. And then 800. And that was supposed to be 900. My bad. And then 800 is this. And then 700 would be this. So we should have different shades as we go down, right? So 600 should get lighter. And then we'll get to 500 here. 500 is here. Ooh. 5. That could be right. Copy that. There we go. That's 500, and then we'll do 400, and 400 is going to be here. And that should get us our shades of orange, and then we also want a shade of pink. So we're going to call this pink instead. And what do we have? We have 100, pink 200, pink 300. We'll say 400. And then we'll do 2 after it. All right, so let's see here. We are at 100, and we'll copy 100 in. And we know that we're going to have to get rid of these number signs when we do it, because when we paste in, that should be there. So 200. We have to delete a number sign. 300, let's get that. Now let's go 400, which is our primary. That'll be our main color. And so the site for us is actually showing us where the colors best match together. So that's 500, 600, which is really nice. And if you don't know much about colors, that's where you want to get a site like this, where it kind of calculates colors for you and gives you the color offsets that are going to look good. So now we have that pretty good here. Now, normally you would also do your primary color here, right? In your secondary color, you'd want to have shades of those. So like your primary here. And I know you can't see this, but I have it off site. I have it on another screen here. And then we'd want to have our blue color also here. We'd want shades of that. So we'd want to go here and now, oop, I screwed up already. Let me get this and I'll show you what I'm talking about here on the screen here. Let me get that locked in for our primary and let's get this locked in for our secondary. Okay, so normally what you'd do, if we looked at it here on stream, is that we would we'd also put these shades in so that we can use those shades if we need to in our mobile app, right? That's going to be something that we could do. Well, we probably want to also get some of these shades in there too, right? These, so that if we need to do offs of that, like on a button or a gradient, we have those already predefined. And in .NET, you want to use something called a brush, and a brush gives you all kinds of cool options for that, but we need to put these in the code in order to do that. So we're also going to do that real quick here. So we know, like you can see here, see this gray brush? Totally makes sense to me how they're doing that. So let's see here. And they're just using it based on this gray scale here. So what we're going to do is add in red here. So we're going to say, I like, what are we here? 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's take pink and copy and put it up here again. We're going to take then change this to red. 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 Oop. Red, and then we'll copy this 2 more times. We'll replace that with 900. That looks pretty good. So now we have all of our reds. Now we just need to change our colors to match what's in our palette here. So we're going to go 100. Oop. We're going to copy that. Come here and paste it. And then I'm just going to the site. I'm clicking on each one of the colors and make sure I got the color right, taking out the extra number sign. So this is 300. And we should see shades of red coming up as we do this, right? 400. Here's red 400. And then red 500. And then red 600, which is our primary color, should be right here. And you can see here, there's our shade of red that we're looking for. Red 700 will be here. And then we could do that. That'll give us, and then here's 800. We'll do that. And then 900 is right here. And that gives us our shade of 9. So now we have our primary color all the way from 600, where it's its most intense, up to darker and lighter. And then we just need to define this also for blue, our secondary. And one could argue that you'd want to call this primary secondary, like secondary, because if you change the color out, you just don't care anymore, right? So we could do something like this. I would probably do this in VI instead. Let's just do this. Let's copy this, and then, oops, 5. Delete the 5 by accident. All right, so that will give us secondary, and then we can replace red with primary. And that's probably a better way to do this. Copy the word primary. Fingers are fat fingering today because it's Friday. Hope everybody's going to have a great weekend today. But a lot of you guys watch this on video on demand. I know that you could probably fast forward the time, and I do that all the time when I watch videos. I just, fast forward the talking and stuff so that I can get the finished video like in half the time. And then, I still get the content that the person's creating. Maybe there's a tip in there I'm learning. So I do the same thing for the video on demand people. I don't blame you for what you're doing instead of hanging out in the live stream. Of course, like I've always said, you can go on Discord and ask questions there. I'm all over the place. If you go to the stream, you'll see links to Dev Club. I highly recommend hanging out there. It's pretty cool. But also I hang out in other places like the, I'll have to show it afterward. There's a dot. Oop, undo that. Boy, that almost ended my world right there. Got too happy with my keyboard shortcuts here. Feel pretty comfortable about this. Now we've got our shades of primary, secondary. We've got an orange and pink offset. We've got our primary color here in our secondary and our ternary setup. Oh, that's actually ternary, not secondary. Secondary would be the gray. Oh, geez. Be the job, big or small. Do it right or not at all. That's what my dad used to say. You know, don't screw up things. If you make a mistake, go fix it. Don't say you're going to fix it later. You're going to forget. You're never going to be able to go back and fix it. You probably won't remember, and then you're going to be really upset because you didn't remember for a long time. There we go. So now we're saying that's the ternary color. Now we have red and orange. Now I do get that right here. We're kind of going in a weird order. We should probably also fix that to not confuse somebody. So let's see, 6, 5, 4. We're doing this in the reverse order. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then there we go. Now we're good. Okay. I think that's good. Now here's the problem. When you change colors, I happen to know this from experience, that Maui, if you just do a build, most of the time it doesn't see it. And that's a bummer. Big bummer. Why does that happen? It kind of sucks, to tell you the truth. But you have to do a clean. Okay. Clean usually will force the themes and stuff to be updated. So that means you have to go into here and say you want to do a clean. Now, usually builds do not work after you do a clean. So you have to do a double build, basically, because you're deleting all your crap. So I just did a clean, and now I want to do a build, and this will probably break. And then I'll do another build, and it'll just work. Don't ask. Tooling. And maybe I get lucky and it works. But usually what ends up happening is that the restore doesn't work for me the first time, and I have to do a build, and then the second time it works. Yeah, that's what I thought here. See where I got an error in the build? I'm going to build again. Once it finishes building here and it errors, I'll build again and it'll probably work. Let's see here. So I got 2 build errors. And the second time, see how it built and it's true, and now it built without issues. It's tooling, man. I don't know what to say other than that. So let's start with iOS to see what happens, to see if our colors change out there. Let's see here. That should have worked. Let's see what happens. And hey, look at that. Our navigation menu is now red. That is what we were looking for. Hey, look at that. All that code to get that working, but that's cool. Let's do this. Let's go home. Let's go to dark mode land and see what happens. So on the iOS in these simulators or emulators, simulators here, we go to the developer menu. So you want to go to your settings and then developer and then dark appearances here. And your app, if written right, should automatically take in dark appearance. So you see here it did. We have a gray menu on the top here, and it's different than the background color here. And we still have pretty decent coloring here. That's pretty neat. I do like this a lot. That's looking pretty awesome. Honestly, that looks pretty great. I'm ridiculously happy with this. Let's try our friend Android. I know this is going to be a crap show already, but let's try Android. Let's see here. So Android, where are you? Android emulators. Here we are. And it built, right? Yeah, it seemed like it built. Let's go and take a look here. So that's our dark mode, which we know we have a problem there with theming. Let's see if we can't get that fixed here. But what's also, I do notice here though, notice this right here, this is not working right. So that's also defined, that's a status bar, and that's a little bit trickier. That is in the, XML of the app itself that we'd have to change out for it to be a different color. Oh yeah, let's do this. Let's go to settings, and then we want dark theme. So we're just going to search for dark theme. You see it's my research already. Let's close this out, go back to the app and run it and see what it looks like with this. So that's red, but this bar sucks right here like this, right? We don't want it to be that color, so that's a problem. So that's outside of the theming that we just did, right? If we go look at it, that's going to be a little bit trickier because we went into the app styles, colors, and we changed that, and it's not picking up, right? So if we go into colors, we go look, there's 0 purples in here, but that purple color is still getting shown. So I've happened to done this before in the old world of Android. What will end up happening is that there'll be platform-specific files for each platform, and then here there will be a colors. And then here, this is where the problem is. You have to have this match what's in your Android. And if this is not matching what's in your Android, then this doesn't work. And we need to change this to be primary. So we have to go in here, find our resource file that we just did. Where's our resources? Styles and colors. Get this open here. So we know that primary is going to be this only when it's normal. And then colors black will be I'm guessing this dark gray right here. And then color accent is going to be an offset. And so we probably want that to be, well, if it was 600, we'll do 400 for our accent. Let's see if that works. Again, because we're changing styles here, now the problem is that Android's not going to read that, okay? So unless you do a clean in the build, the chances of this, in fact, let's just do this. We'll just do another debug here, and I promise you, I doubt that that will change because the build's cached, and in Maui, usually what ends up happening is they only want to push changes. Oh no, look at that, I did see it. Okay, that's interesting. It saw it right away. That's good. So now we only have a problem with our splash screen, really, that's killing us here. And I say that we have this themed okay. Let's go ahead and change. Well, we'll leave it the light mode right now, Android. So let's see here. We need to change the splash screen. So let's go to and find that. So let's see here. Splash is right here. And Splash just says .NET. So there's got to be some code that basically just says to draw that as a splash. So that's what we got to go find. Maui program. What do we got going on here? There's our font definition. It's not in native, is it? It definitely says splash theme here, but I don't see it in Maui app. How do we change this darn thing out? I know how to read iOS probably better here. Let's see what the app delegate says to do. It's just create Maui app. So it's definitely a Maui thing. Let's go look and see if there is. So there's an SVG for it. Let's go look at styles. Indicators, borders, box, buttons. I'm looking for the a style for the splash is my guess. Here's the editor. Entry field for text entry, frames, image button, labels, list views, pickers, progress bar, radio button, search. I don't see anything with the word splash in it. Let's go through and try to do a global search and see if we can find the word splash. Let's see where we find it. 2 references. That's it. Okay. Okay, Maui. You're winning today. Let's find out if we can Google this. How to change the splash screen in Maui. Create a new image, edit image to your project, update the manifest, build and run, update the splash screen. Like what? For Android. I don't care about the logo. I care about the background color. Okay, so it looks like they're here it is. So they're saying that it's in the CS proj file. Wow. Okay. Okay. That seems a weird place to put it, but okay. Let's look for a splash here. There it is. There it is. Well, look at that. You bugger. And let's go back to CS proj. Change it to that. Do another build where we're going to Android right now. And that should change the background color. And then we just have to change out the CSV. And it's about 1 after. I've been streaming for about an hour. I do have to get going here pretty quick for the lunch stream, but we're making some themes changes here. We're getting some UI looking right. That's a goal of today's stream. I'm also testing the video quality, and it seems to be pretty good. It seems to be getting better. That did not build yet. There we go. Installing project. Pop it in. Let's get this to the point where it installs again. And then we should hopefully see that new splash screen background color. And then all we have to do is really just say that the SVG is different. Yep, so there it is. So now we can say that this is using our theme colors, which is cool. I did like that. That means we can go on to actually getting some freaking stuff done on this app. All right, let's see here. So the last thing we'd have to do is that splash SVG is not great. We need this to use this instead. So we're going to say resources, images, Couchbase, SVG. And that should be that. Why did I forget? And that should have all of our turd stuff figured out. It may need to be a white background now I think about it, because I think the SVG for the Couchbase logo is, it needs the background to be white because the white is currently transparent. It's just basically the shape's not there. So I think what we're going to find is that the background is going to be just pure red, and we would change it to white, and that would work. And then you're going to say, well, for dark mode people, that looks terrible. Yeah, you're not wrong. We can just make it dark and then have it be black in the background. Yep, see what I meant, that it's all red because of the fact that the background color doesn't work. Let's go for a happy medium. See if that works. Oh, I've got a wife. Okay. I do have to get off the stream here pretty quick. We'll test this and then I think we'll call it a day. I mean, that doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad. I think it's too... Try running it again. It's too gray. I think really what we want is something like... let's look at our color file again. We would want a pretty dark gray, like 212121. And I think that's going to be the better solution. That change did not happen. Oh, it's still installing it. It's not installed yet. That's why. So it's not installed on the device yet. This is the old version still. That's better. I'm okay with that. That's not great, but that's better. I think that's going to work. All right, folks. I think that's going to be it for the lunch stream today. So thanks for everybody on video on demand watching and stuff. I'll be back maybe this weekend a little bit streaming, but probably more likely Monday. We'll continue up on this race and go through and be playing with getting some data show up on the screen and stuff. So I appreciate your guys' time and attendance. And if, like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out onto me on the Twitters, on the Discord, smoke signals, whatever you use to message people. Take care and have a great weekend.